Yep. Welcome, everyone. I love when you do that. Nobody does it like you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Well, everyone, welcome to Clobberin Times issue number. 157 on YouTube, but 857 overall. Whoa, I'm getting
Nice.
close to that. I'm already getting close to that 900 bar.
You're gonna be not monetized in no time, brother. There's no way you can't
Oh,
be.
well, subs. They gotta have subs too, which that I might not have for a while. But I got the episodes though.
Oh yeah,
That doesn't really matter much, does it? If you don't get the subs, but that's okay.
it
We're having
does.
fun.
It does. It does. It
Does it really?
does matter. Oh yeah, hell yeah, it
I didn't know that.
matters.
Thought you said that subs in the hours and stuff.
I'm from a numbers point of view, but it all matters. So it's not like, oh well, I do this, so but it doesn't really matter because of this. No, it all matters. All of it matters. All of it matters to the algorithm. So
Okay, well, good.
it's all positive.
Good. Well, I appreciate that, man. Good. I really appreciate you being here, everyone. Of course, tonight's special guest is the great Stone Loki, because we're going to talk some Loki here on Monday Night Mark C Comic Talks on Clobberin Time, and because he is connected to comics, but there's a lot more to him than that. So who better to talk to? Because I may not know much about Loki, but I know a little bit about Stone Loki. He's the coolest guy online. He made that fantastic intro for me. He's been one of my best pals since I moved here to YouTube. Which has been a great year now. Almost coming up on a year, and I just appreciate you being here, my brother. Thanks, man.
I love anytime I get to hang out with you, bro. So anytime I get to hang out and go clobbering time.
Nobody says it better, man. We appreciate you, man. So yes, Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk, everyone, and we got some lots of cool friends here already. I want to say hello to all of you. Just a big greeting. Thank you all for being here tonight. A few show notes before we get started, because of all the things coming up. Let's see here. Let's see. Tomorrow night. He doesn't like it when I say who's the real man behind the round table. So just in deference to him, I'll just say the comic book round table. I shall be hosting it tomorrow night at an hour earlier than this start point. That'll be 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll have the usual gang and I guess the usual shenanigans. We might throw a few different wrinkles in there. You never know. We might surprise you, or we might not. You just never know. Mm-hmm. You just never know, right? But I mean, who knows? They might not be surprised at all, but we'll see. And of course, Wednesday night, my great buddy Flash from the old Blog Talk Radio days. You know I hate remakes, but this is a remake of a show we did about 10 years ago because we haven't done it yet. We're going to count down our top 25 all-time favorite movies. And then you can really laugh at me because I do remember the last time we did this, we had a big, we had big crowds in the Blog Talk Radio thing back then, Loki. And I got picked on a little bit but I actually brought it on myself because I picked on it. Not because of how geeky my list was. My list of all-time favorite movies is, I look at it and go, good God, you're 12-year-old. And one of the things Flash kind of, and we joked about a little bit, Loke, was the fact that I don't think I had one movie on my list from the 21st century.
No, probably not.
I don't think I had one. I may have, but I don't know. I don't think I did. Read into that what you may. What does that mean, that I'm old or something? Of course it does.
I don't know. I'd have a Lord of the Rings movie or
I do love those.
Yeah.
That I like. Those I like. I'm not saying there aren't films, that have been in this century that I haven't liked. Sure, but it's only 25. Even Flash, who I always, every time we did almost, we ran out of lists to do. We did so many back then, like of all these different geek topics. We did so many that eventually we ran out of ones to do. But every time he would be the one going, when I would say, damn, it was brutal narrowing that one down to 25. Did you have trouble doing that? Nah, it was easy. He just complained, oh man, this is tough. 25 movies. Oh my God, I can't do that. There's so many. Well, good.
So many to choose, so little time.
Narrowing it down is never easy.
No.
But let's see here. So that will be Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central. Going all over the place in the times. And 1 p.m. Central on Thursday, the Global Geek Gang shall gather again for some global geekness.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, Saturday night Star Trek with the wonderful Raquel Briggs and myself. We have going on to phase 3 of our ongoing mission to review all of real Star Trek 66 through 05.
Damn.
And we've just gotten through, look, we just got through doing all of the original series. Now we've just gotten through doing all of the animated series this past Saturday night. And again, we're having such fun. You people are so fun. It's been a blast. Saturday nights are wild. I can't believe how wild the chat gets, how much fun, interactive we interact. I don't know if you're familiar with Loki, but we rate it. And after we review it, we give our ratings. Then we ask for the ratings of the chat, and they give theirs, and I read them all. And it's just a lot of fun, man. And
yes.
Now we're starting with the original cast films. Okay, and we'll be doing Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the theatrical, and the director's cut, and then of course a movie that none of you probably ever heard of called Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I know no one's ever really, none of you have ever seen that one.
No.
You may have heard of it somewhere, like a little independent film. It's not very popular.
No.
And
nobody knows about it.
Oh no. And one further announcement. This is far ahead, but we talked about this. Marvel Comics will not adequately celebrate their flagship title, the wonderful Fantastic Four, the world's greatest comic magazine. So it's up to Clobberin Times to do it because they won't do it right. And that's so say me. And August is always Jack Kirby month at Clobberin Times, but we were going to do that anyway. But on August the 8th, which is the actual release date of Fantastic Four #1 in 1961, we will be celebrating. The Global Geek Gang will assemble on a Sunday at 4 p.m. Central to celebrate Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, and do it right because Marvel sucks. And anybody who is a fan of the Fantastic Four, we'll bring other guests on and things like that. Anyone who is interested in that, we'll bring some other guests, of course. So, that's just way in advance, but that's in August. But I just thought I would, start announcing it now, Luke. So,
that's kick-ass, man. I can't wait. I want more.
Well, cool. And again, I don't know if you're much of an FF fan, but you're more than welcome to join us.
Hell yeah!
If you want to pop in and hang and talk, I don't even know if you've read the comic or if you're ever into them or not. But they need to be celebrated because without them, they're none of the other Marvel characters.
That's right.
Including one we're going to talk about as far as Marvel is concerned tonight. He wouldn't have shown not without the FF. Doesn't happen without the FF.
Nope. Marvel wouldn't be what it is today. Oh, that's so horrible to say.
That's
so horrible to say. Wait a minute. Are you saying if we got rid of the FF, Marvel wouldn't be owned by Disney right now?
Oh well, yeah, but they wouldn't exist either.
That's right.
They wouldn't exist to be owned by Disney. So, so yeah. By the way, again, so many wonderful friends here tonight. J-Man, good to see you, bro. Andrew 462, Phantom Outsider, Snorta Poopas, Arwen. Hello there, Arwen Avalon. Dadman Walking, Pat Brother, Robert, the beautiful Aris of Chaos, our dear friend and our member of the fellow comic roundtabler. The great Chris Persia, the great Just Joe Jobber from my old days of Blog Talk Radio. Who else is there? The great Mark D with the C. Yo, bro. Great friend of the show. A great buddy. Dadman Walking, did I mention you? I probably did, but you got two. In that case, you got two mentioned. Captain Ipser Spock. Hello there, Darius O'Prey. Trying not to miss anybody, but I'm senile. It happens.
Big shout out to Bird tonight. Big shout out to Bird of Prey.
Oh, yes, please. Go for it.
Oh, just guys, Bird of Prey is having a lot of medical problems right now. Big shout out to him. I know Darius, that's why Darius got that O'Prey in there. Darius, brother, representing, and Bird of Prey is having a tough time. So keep Bird in your thoughts.
Absolutely. And the community, as always, is rallying around him. Bird of Prey, best of luck. Best of luck, my friend. I hope just prayers and fingers crossed and all that kind of stuff. Whatever you do, please think of him. So that's great. Yeah, man. Let's see. Man, as I was talking with you earlier a little bit, the character of Loki's kind of out there in the ether right now.
Yes, he is. Got that new television show.
Yeah, he's got that. You know what? Is it? I know it's pedantic, but is it really a TV show? Is anything really a TV show anymore?
No, it's more like a bigger version of a miniseries.
Yeah, and it's not on. It's only on TV if you sling it to your TV.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just being silly.
You gotta have that streaming service set up, or you gotta have a TV that can stream, or watching on your
Yeah.
computer, or your phone. God, I hate that. I hate when I see people watching TV on their phone.
I'll sling it to the computer, but to the TV. But yeah, I can't.
Mm-mm.
I can't stand watching
You
anything.
just feel like an old man. Get off your phone.
Get off your
Get off your lawn. God.
Exactly.
Watching on a TV.
Oh, my
What's
goodness.
that? What's that? What's a TV? I'll show you. Bastard.
Yeah, TV. Everybody know TV show. And it's that show. Isn't he the bad guy? What's he got a TV show for? Why am I talking like that? I don't even know.
Because
that's
that's
what
what
happen.
happens. That's what happens when you start talking about, like, boy, you ought to just get your shit straight. Disney, you just need to get your shit straight and make a real TV program.
Eric K, what's up, brother? But see, yeah, dude, that's exactly. If it was on TV and if some crumb cruncher was sitting there watching it, that's what their redneck dad would say. Oh, wait a minute, what's he got a TV show for? It's all he's the bad guy. You ain't supposed to get the bad guy on no TV show. That's
Well,
not
this
how-
one you do. You were
Yes.
supposed to. They were supposed to give him a good TV show, not a shit show.
Well, yeah, that would be a help, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Give him a good one.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to talk about that now, or you just want to talk about the character first? Or we can do that and then backtrack if you want.
Oh, up to you, brother. I'm following your lead.
Well, since it's not worth going into it that far, we'll just talk about it at the outset a little bit and then talk about the character.
Okay.
Did anyone like that thing? I mean, I think my buddy Mark Newman said he thought it was an okay one. I got to be honest with you, because I was telling you about how I didn't know it had dropped, and I saw everyone, gathering about it on Twitter after it dropped, saying it's the worst thing that they've ever seen.
If you have a brain and it functions, you're probably not gonna like this show. And it's not that the acting's bad. It's not that the special effects are bad. It's not that the actors are bad. It is the story behind it. We are all lemmings, ladies and gentlemen. We are all lemmings. We all follow in a nice little line, going about our lives exactly how they tell us to. And if one of the lemmings in that line are defective, then they vaporize the little fucker and replace him with one that isn't, that does everything he's told to do.
Yes. It's really a dumb. I mean, look, the TVA, which was created by Walt Simonson, by the way, in some old Thor comics, and even the Timekeepers, which predate that from Thor comics, we're really nothing like they are in the friggin' TV show.
I saw, I'm not going to name any names, but I saw someone running their mouths about this show like it was jam and a jelly roll, ladies and gentlemen. Did you even watch it? This is the bestest thing ever. You just hate to hate, toxic fandom menace. You just hate to hate. Let me tell you something. The person who said that does not have a functioning fucking brain cell. Because if they watched it and they were just bouncing up and down that Tom was on it, guess what? There's a big ass cliff you're about to go off of because he's not going to be around for long. Yeah.
Well, by the way, if you did like the first episode, like I say, I've talked like a few that did. Just wait. Anyway, wait for a minute, because it never goes well. There are going to be more episodes. So even if you did like the first one, but yes. Yes, Walt Simonson's run was legendary, Captain Spock. He was amazing. But yes, hi there, brightest day. It just, it's just so much to be annoyed by in the episode. But I guess it just kind of left me numb, Loke. I mean, in other words, I understand everything you and everyone's saying about it, but I couldn't even work up a lot of emotion one way or the other about that episode. Because it's just after Falcon Winter Soldier, look, this MCU's dead. Maybe it's just because maybe it's apathy on my part.
No. Because the people, no, you're right. It's not apathy. The people that hyped this up Okay, the people that hyped up the stones, the people that were like, this is going to be all huge. Guess what they just did in that first episode? They made the entire first 3 phases of the MCU fucking meaningless. All that hurt, all that shit Cap went through, everything Iron Man went through, the death of Iron Man, Thanos killing half the damn universe to get the stones. All of that was absolutely, positively pointless because those stones don't mean shit. At the end of the day, those stones don't mean anything. Do you know why those stones were important? Because the 3 god lizards that decide everything about your life and everyone else's life said they were.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that because some lizard god said they were. Oh, well, why did you let this happen? Well, the lizard gods decreed that it was. Well, why did you let Thanos get the stones? Because the lizard god decreed it. Why did you let Thanos snap and kill half the galaxy? Because the lizard gods decreed it. Not because he struggled to get the stones. Not because he became the most powerful being in the cosmos, which he wasn't. It's all because the lizard gods said so.
Right.
You have turned the entire first 3 phases of the MCU into a joke. Congratulations, you destroyed yourselves in one little motion. You have destroyed yourselves.
Well, but like Mark's saying there, he thought it was because magical items don't work in the TVA. I mean, that's their explanation for it. Canadian Spider-Man, what's up, bro?
But when he said, why was this allowed to happen? Because the lizard god said it was.
Yes. Also a misuse of the timekeepers, by the way, which is not what they were. They weren't there to control people and everything like that. They were to stop originally, I think, to stop Immortus, to be honest, from screwing up, and Kang from screwing up time in the Marvel Universe. They totally, oh God, it was just so misused.
That cartoon where they're almost on an assembly line.
Right.
And you see the people, oh, this one went off the wrong way. Vaporize his bitch ass and let's make another one that knows better.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, we don't even know yet, what they want Loki, this version of Loki to do. Something about him fighting himself. Like, well, what?
Yep. The one true Loki.
Or herself.
Just wait.
So we don't know yet. You know how everyone's been saying, look, good or bad, we all know that you're not going to get a lot of Hiddleston here. Well, he's in the whole episode, so a lot of people said, see, but we'll see how much he is in the next one or moving forward. How much? Not that it matters much. The show is anyway, but.
Do you for all you Dragon Ball fans out there, I don't mean to be so negative, but for all you Dragon Ball fans out there, Fem Loki is going to be Loki's final form. Fem Loki is going to be the most powerful, the bestest ever. She's going to be so much better than the male Loki that she's going to prove the lizard gods wrong, and she's going to be allowed to exist. Just wait.
Yep. Yes, and that's a good point that Phantom Outsider makes, by the way. It's fine if the Infinity Stones don't work in the TVA, but the fact that they said the stones are required in each universe to keep the flow of time safe, meanwhile, they have tons of them out of their, I guess, basically out of their respective universes. Exactly. And just to have a cheap paperweight joke.
Yep.
Which is what that was. A cheap, dumb joke.
The hard part of that, though, is when they say, this happened because we allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
It means the stones don't mean shit. At the end of the day, if the timekeepers didn't want Thanos to get the stones, he would have never gotten the stones, and that would have never happened. And that happens when they explain, why did you allow the Avengers to travel through time to get the stones? Because it was destined to happen. But wait, you mean none of what they did was like, you know, they didn't pull one out of left field? They didn't pull that win out of their ass. They didn't come from behind and have an epic win. You're saying you allowed them to do that because that is what was destined to happen.
Right.
Tony was destined to die. Cap was destined to go back in time and be with Peggy. Then why wasn't he vaporized for going into the future? Why wasn't he vaporized and reset back in the past where he was supposed to be, if that was destined? No. It all happens the way the three lizard gods plan it to happen.
It's ridiculous.
That is the dumbest shit they could have done. That is this whole time shit. I was worried when Endgame came out. I was like, you guys are opening a fucking box of worms.
Yep.
And you're going to have to be very careful how you play this. And what did they do? They jumped the shark with this show.
Endgame had too many bad calls. Endgame ruined that. To me, look, it's very entertaining, but when it doesn't pass the think test.
No.
Because there's so much in it that it screwed up. It's wonderful to watch it. But every time you think about it, you go, oh my God, why would you do that? Oh my God, why would you do that? Oh my God, why would you do that? So many bad decisions. And one of the worst narrative decisions about this show, outside of what you're talking about, which of course, let's just talk about the character of Loki for a second. It was a bad decision to pull his 2012 of self from where they did to make him the star. Well, the focus at the beginning anyway, of when he doesn't have his anywhere close to his redemption arc yet, and then contradict that because he's a variant, of course. Why not go after the one that everyone thinks was killed by Thanos in Infinity War? I mean, there's still the stories of the mind anyway. Don't get me wrong. Why not use that Loki?
Yes.
Chris Berger says, Clobby, think of it this way: those Infinity Stones aren't merely paperweights. They were removed because the TVA removed those realities for not following the sacred time stream. That's even worse.
Does that mean there's only one left? Because Doctor Strange said there's only one reality where they win.
Yes, true. Which was also kind of melodramatic and kind of, again, and I loved Infinity War except for some mistakes made. I think there's so many bad narrative mistakes in the writing in those films in particular. Because of again, Ironcaster, what's up, man? Good to see you.
And Darius O'Prey, removed for not following the proper narrative.
Right. Mark the Infinitely Tied, what's up, buddy?
Yeah. Wonder what kind of message that sends. You didn't follow the narrative, you're getting removed.
These people they're not writers. They're certainly not comic book writers, and they're not really fantasy or science fiction writers either. I guess they're borderline hacky TV writers from different places. They don't know comics. They don't know how to write anything fantasy oriented, certainly not science fiction. And they don't understand these characters, and they don't really care either. Dave Bob, what's up, bud?
I don't even think they watch the movies. No, because they're like, oh, Loki, this is going to be the first time we ever see female Loki. No. Loki is a female? No, because he was, what's her name in Dark World? Sif. He was Lady Sif. He turned into Lady Sif in Dark World. He has morphed into a female before. But no, this is the first time Loki's ever morphed into a female. Oh shit, I guess we're gonna have to. Why didn't y'all watch? Oh well, we didn't watch any of the movies. And why didn't y'all read the comics? Well, we haven't read any of the comics. What the hell are you good for? Well, we write trashy high school drama shit. Oh, that's perfect.
It's fantastic. Yeah, fan fiction. Look, I'm sure these people may have caught a movie or two here and there, but no, they don't. I'm not like fans who watch them all the time. They don't know anything. They certainly probably did not go back and I don't know what, even watch the films, much less read comics. So yeah,
imagine this, because I know late 90s, right? Late 90s.
Yes.
Imagine a writer's room, and you're going around the table, you're shaking people's hands, people involved in comics, people involved in movies, all these badass franchises, they know their stuff, and then you get to the last person, and it's some crazy bitch with rainbow underarm hair, and you're like, what have you done? I wrote for Dawson's Creek. Well, pow! Get the fuck out of here! You don't belong here. And that's exactly what they would have done. And now it's a whole fucking room of women with rainbow underarm hair. And oh my God, I wrote for what the fuck ever. Whatever's new. I wrote for Bewitched. I wrote for this. What comic book knowledge do you have?
You know, it's a good point, because Rod Serling brought in science fiction writers and playwrights to write Twilight Zone. Gene Roddenberry brought in playwrights, science fiction writers, accomplished science fiction writers.
Don't forget DC Fontana.
Well, Dorothy Fontana was, again, an accomplished writer.
Had to hide her name.
Had to hide her name. But he brought in people like that. And, Gene Roddenberry went after, say what you want about Harlan Ellison, but sometimes Cord Winterbird, but he brought in Jerome Bixby. And he brought in Norman Spinrad, and he brought in Robert Pluck and Richard Matheson. And he brought in science fiction writers. Imagine that. Because it was, now again, when the next generation came along, what you're just talking about, early on, I used to see all these gigantic lists of writers for an episode. And a lot of their weaker episodes had 50 freaking writers listed. D. Bud Martin, good to see you. And I always wondered, where are they getting some of these writers? Three's Company or something? And as the show improved, that tightened up a little bit, and the showrunners changed a little bit, and they started getting more competent writers who seemed to have a little bit more of a science fiction background, and certainly even more of a TV background for the most part. I mean, more of a respectable TV background. And J. Michael Straczynski was very, very picky about who he let write Babylon 5. And he had Harlan Ellison in there as his consultant. The better shows go after the better writers, QED, right? Well, who are these people that write these new shows? No, who are these people? And what have they done? And this has been going on for a long time. On everything now, how horrible that Stephen Moffat, pretty much, he ruined Doctor Who, but he brought, the more he started screwing around with it and his ego got in the way, it got bad. But when Chibi came in, it was even worse, because he just he started hiring people that have never written Doctor Who, never watched Doctor Who, had nothing to do with anything, no understanding of Doctor Who. And call me silly, but you want to bring a dentist in to fix your car, or a mechanic? I mean, you're going to go after the people with the experience to work on, to do whatever is in their field. You don't go after people with no experience. Marvel, DC, I'm looking at you like all the idiots you hire. And I am just in their comics line. I mean, they hire pieces of filth like Ta-Nehisi Coates and Kelly Sue DeConnick and all these other morons that don't know comics to write their comics. That's why no one buys comics.
That's right.
And Kevin Feige, I'm so sick of him getting all these accolades for being such a genius. He's run the MCU into the ground. And it's going to get worse and worse, because when he was hungry, even though he kind of bullied his way in there and he got a hold of it, and a lot of his success was him early on. Once he got his money and became, rich enough never to have to worry about working again, then it was time to pay his dues. And that was pay your dues to Hollywood. So then he just threw everything away. He had no more passion for anything. He just threw it away for the agenda, because you know what? If he got fired tomorrow, he would never have to work again. He doesn't care.
You see it start as soon as Paramount was out. As soon as Paramount was out, which Paramount was still there in the first Avengers movie. As soon as Paramount was out, things started to shift. And by the time they were done with Age of Ultron, those scales had already started to tip even more.
Yes. and it slowly creeped in, and now it's pretty much the Kevin Feige show, and he brings in idiots that don't understand the characters. He hires morons that never read comics to direct the films like Eternals and all this other kind of stuff. He only cares about the agenda now because he's paying his dues. He's got everything he needs. He doesn't really care anymore, and he's got the serve agenda whether he deep down wants to or not. That's what he's doing, and that's just it's showing up in the product. There were people who made that stupid WandaVision show that admitted they never read comics. And I think on that horrible Winter Soldier show, same deal. A lot of those people never read comics.
That's right. Who, you know what? Well, can we do like an imaginary thing here real quick where we can doesn't matter if the person's gone. We're just going to go off merit. Okay. First, Jack Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Ditko.
Yep. I
know you won't totally agree with this, but Stan Lee.
Yeah, I won't go into my issues with him for now. Go ahead.
Neil Gaiman.
Okay. Yeah, I have some respect for him a little bit.
I love Frank Miller. I love Frank Miller's work.
I have my issues with Miller, but I do love a lot of his stuff.
But that's just my I think that was 5. Let's say that's your top 5. Okay, so right off the top of my head, that is 4.
No, I think 5. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, you said Kirby. Yeah, you're 5. Sorry, I can't count anymore. Good.
Okay. That's just off the top of my head.
Sure.
You know, those are the names that immediately come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
If you could have anybody, these motherfuckers are picking women that wrote for teen drama soap opera shit. What did you do? I wrote for Pretty Little Liars. So you're in.
Like STD. That's the Bad Reboot people. That's what they do.
Yeah. That's STD. And that's Marvel. That's what you're getting. What do you think's going to happen when that translates to movies? Not just these little rinky-dink TV shows. They already got TD, Tada, Tootie, Toddy, Takawata TD, Woke Titty. Yeah, he's just as bad as Chin Balls, right? Doctor Who.
He is a piece of crap.
So Gilmore Girls, Gilmore Girls, Gossip Girls, yes. Arwen, thank you. It was Gilmore Girls that I was thinking of because you do have writers working for Star Trek that were fucking Gilmore Girls writers.
That's right.
And that's all that's on their resume. Why the hell do you have a woman that wrote for Gilmore Girls writing fucking Star Trek? You want to know why you've got conversations in hallways and fucking crying in Star Trek like that?
Well, yeah.
Gilmore Girls writers. Because that's what they write. That's what they connect to. I'm sorry, but fucking Scotty says it. How many times have I told you have the right tool for the right job?
Right. Well, look, like I said, you hire specialists in the field. Well, ideally, I mentioned Rod Serling and Gene Roddenberry and all these other great show creators who brought in, talented people. The same with other aspects of life. The head coach, you don't bring in the best players, your team's going to be garbage.
Yep.
If you don't bring in the best writers, you end up with STD and you end up with all these Marvel shows and all this crap. But it gets again. I fully believe that these people doing this stuff because no one's watching it. They don't get big ratings. STD, nobody watches that, but they don't care because they've got theirs now. They can afford to hemorrhage money because it doesn't matter to them. They're serving the agenda. That's what they're doing. So they don't care anymore. So what? But fans do, and that's a mistake. That's the cross you bear as a fan, right? You care, but they don't.
Yep.
It's sad. So, and again, this show, whether you liked that first episode or not, or you were indifferent, I gotta admit, it was kind of just indifferent to it. And it's a shame because who doesn't like, Hiddleston? Yeah. He's a great actor.
You know what? When I first saw him, I was like, okay, he kind of looks the part, but I haven't seen anything that tells me he's Loki. And I've said this before, that scene where he's talking to Thor and he's like, I'm sorry, brother, but father's dead and mother's angry and you can't come home. Yeah, I can't go and bring you back because, that was father's last decree. If I do that, it'll be anarchy. And he's just like, oh, but father died. Yes, father's dead. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, it was he nailed it. I mean,
Yes. Lying little bastard.
yeah, he was. Yeah, he was really good in the role. You know, and they owed him better than to give him something like this to do.
Yeah.
Hey Cardinal, what's up, man?
And when he goes and tries to pick up the hammer, and he's just like, he's annoyed. He's like, come here, you're mine now. No, it's son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yep. And well, tell everybody, those who may not know, because let's face it, there are a lot of people, including me, really. I don't know a lot about the origins of the character or of Loki himself, beyond comic books. I'll admit it, because I'm a comic book geek, and I don't know much. I've read a little here and there, but if you were to just in a nutshell, just kind of sum up the character pre-comics.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Please go for it, because I don't know how many people know much about it or not here, but go for it.
You got to go back. You got to go back to the Greeks. If you really want to get into Loki, go back to the Greeks and look at Prometheus. Prometheus was a trickster god. He was the god of fire or the titan of fire and the bringer of humanity. He gave mankind fire and knowledge of the gods. Loki did the exact same thing. Loki is Prometheus. And the reason why that happened is that obviously the Romans took up a lot of the Greek mythology, and they just changed some names here and there. But basically everything the Romans believed in their religion, but pre-Christianity, was based off of Greek mythology. The Romans eventually invaded Germania, and what Germania turns into is Scandinavia.
Mm-hmm.
The Romans brought religion to the heathens. They just changed the names. Odin and Zeus and Thor and Loki. Loki is Prometheus. And the people had almost like cults in Scandinavia when they were still practicing the old religion. There were cults. There were no cults for Loki. Loki did not have a cult following. The only time you talked to Loki was if you wanted some really nasty shit to befall somebody you didn't like. But he was also revered because he gave knowledge to man. He flipped off the gods. He flipped off Thor and Odin and all of the rest of them and said, screw you. Mankind deserves fire. They deserve tech. They deserve to learn how to make a bow. They need knowledge. They deserve the knowledge of the gods. So in reality, Loki wasn't really a bad guy. He just flipped his fingers up to the other gods. He didn't like them. And he constantly played tricks on them. Was he responsible for the death of Balder, one of Odin's sons, Thor's brother? Yes, he was. But that's because they made Balder invulnerable. Nothing could harm him. Basically, his mother went around and talked to everything on Earth except for a plant and made a deal that said, you will in no way, shape, or form hurt my son. She went to the mountains and talked to metal. She talked to rocks. She talked to everything and basically made a deal with the whole world except for plants to prevent him from being hurt. So how does he die? Loki tricks him into showing off and to be like, nothing can harm me. And he ends up getting hit with some mistletoe and dying. And that's how simple it was. Loki pissed off all the other gods. But as far as mankind went, he helped mankind. He just did it for weird reasons. He is the bringer of humanity. He brought forth humanity. Before Loki, people were just supposed to be like, heathens living in the hills, eating berries and twigs, no knowledge, no nothing, just almost animal-like creatures. Because of Loki, they gained knowledge, and from that knowledge, they learned how to forge steel. They learned how to create fire. They learned how to build huts. All of that is because of Loki, and no one ever thanked him for it. They all paid homage to the other gods. Oh, thank you, Odin, for the victory in battle and yada yada. Well, if it wasn't for the metal and the leather and the shields, you wouldn't have had that battle in the first place, or you wouldn't have won that battle. And that's because of Loki. You had the knowledge to make that shield, the sword, all that shit because of Loki. And he's a god that never got thanked. He's a
Yeah.
god that never got thanked for it. And he didn't, and he wasn't one of the Aesir. He wasn't one of the Aesir. He wasn't from Asgard. He wasn't from Valhalla. He was born of a frost giant. That part of that story in Marvel, that is true. He is the son of a frost giant. He was a son of a frost giant, and he was welcomed into the Aesir. He was welcomed in as god, but he's a foreigner. Same with Prometheus. He's a titan. He's not a god of Olympus. He's one of the only titans they let stay and still do stuff because he worked in a forge and he made Zeus's badass thunderbolts. So, but that doesn't mean they couldn't do any wrong either. When that shit happened with Balder, Loki got chained up. He got chained up. The world serpent, one of his own kids, was above him, and poison was dropping on Loki's head, kind of like Chinese water torture.
Mm-hmm.
And Loki's wife was there with this bowl, catching it and taking it into herself. So because it couldn't hit the ground. If it hit the ground, he'd be in even more extraordinary pain. So she was taking it into herself and drinking it so that he could find peace. And of course, he gets out of that. All kinds of shit happens. But his children were supposed to bring about Ragnarok, the end of the world. So.
Yes, indeed. And, man, you've done some studying on this, of course.
I know that's a huge information dump. And some people are going to be
like,
it is.
What? That's amazing. Look, no, dude, I love it. Because, again, apparently you have done your research on Loki, man.
Oh yeah, I loved learning about the Greek gods when I was in school. That was like my thing. If it was Greek gods, the Roman gods, Scandinavian gods, you name it. If it was about different religions, I was there. And there are echoes of other religions attached to that. Everybody knows Christmas, right? And I don't mean to offend anybody here, but you can look this up. This isn't Loki pulling anything out of his ass. He's not tricking you. Not this time anyway. Christmas is a Viking holiday. It is not the birthday of Christ. It is a Viking holiday. How many people have heard joyous Yuletide for Christmas? It's not something a lot of people say anymore, but it was a big thing back. Joyous Yuletide. Christmas is here, right?
Yeah.
The Yuletide was a Scandinavian holiday in winter. And what they did was they went out and they found the biggest damn evergreen that stayed green all winter long. And they cut that son of a bitch down and they brought it back inside, kind of like a Christmas tree, stripped it and burned it in the longhouse all winter long. They burned this damn tree. For months, they would burn this tree. And they did that as a way of saying, this thing's not dying. It's not going to die in winter. This is the strongest thing out here in the forest. We're going to use that to keep ourselves strong in the winter and warm and survive in this cold hellhole we live in. And they'd party and get drunk and rest. And it was like a holiday for the Vikings. The Yule log. Pat S. Darius O'Prey. Yes, Yuletide. So there's so many connections between the Roman mythology, the Greek mythology, Scandinavian, the Norse gods, Christianity. There are a lot of things that are all connected that a lot of people don't even know about. And that's because around the 1500s, there was a whole bunch of, if you talk about this, we're going to burn you at the fucking stake.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's man, dude, that's amazing. I love learning about all that kind of stuff.
That's why they called it. That's why they called it the Dark Ages.
Yeah. It's weird because Thor actually popped up in some comics before in the Golden Age, before Marvel did their own, because anyone can use anyone can use Thor.
Yes,
but Loki actually also popped up in the Golden Age before the Kirby version.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
But it's in the timely, when they were timely Marvel, kind of Marvel, but not Marvel. There were timely comics and stuff. And let's see here. I don't know if any of you have ever seen him. But here's a look. And you can't find much. I've never been able to find much. I remember when looking once before. But look at that page right there from I believe a comic about Venus, goddess of love, in like the late 40s, early 50s, something like that. I can't believe Mike Sikowski was working for Timely at that point. Again, but anyway, if you look at him, he doesn't look anything like his later comic book iteration.
He's not supposed to. Loki was fair-haired.
Yeah.
He didn't have dark black hair. He was fair-haired. The original, the old school, Scandinavian.
Yeah, and they just kind of went their own way with him. Steve Mitchell, what's up, bro? And then here is the first appearance, the first Kirby appearance, Journey into Mystery number 85. There we go. And again, this it was a superhero comic, so of course they changed a lot of stuff. And I mean, they made them, they changed it accordingly, just as they changed stores look at things like that. But so a lot of people think of the Marvel Comics version when they think of Loki. They don't know as much as you know about it. I mean, they should maybe, but back then Jack Kirby was really into Norse mythology. But he had to make a superhero comic book out of it, so he did that. But go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, growing up, getting called that, it immediately makes you want to know more. Oh, wait a minute. So if I'm little Loki, there's an actual Loki that was this god in this mythology that yeah.
Is that what they were calling you? You said they were calling you when you were young?
Yeah, my dad's call sign was Odin in the S3A Viking squadron that he flew. Obviously, he was the first flight leader for that squadron, and for that plane, for that matter. And so they gave him the call sign Odin, since hey, we're Vikings. My brother is like 6'7", long blonde hair, 12 years older than I am, big burly bastard. What do they call him? Thor. So I get born. I'm the dark-haired little runt of the litter, and of course, it's little Loki. Ha ha ha! Fuck
oh man, I didn't know that. I just thought you just adopted it as your,
No, it goes, dude.
Oh my goodness,
it goes back. Yeah, that's
the origin.
The origin story. I remember the first time I told Loki. That Mexican Iron Man, he was like, "You got to tell everybody that." I'm like, I don't think so. Not yet.
Dude. That's it's news to me, man. Wow. I just thought it was
I told you that.
Man.
No.
Well, I'm old. I might forget things sometimes, but I don't think so. But this, of course, this is a lot of the Kirby version. I mean, as you can see, Kirby thought that you should make him as, he didn't try to make him cute. And no, that's not an affront to Tom Hiddleston. But let's face something here when it comes to the character, the Hiddleston version of the character. There are a lot of how do I put this? A lot of ladies are into the character because they think he's cute, I guess. Is that fair to say?
And mischievous. But hey, you know what? A lot of girls, they like bad boys.
They like the
bad boy. And Loki's the bad boy. And they want to warm that cold frost giant heart. And
yeah. See, Kirby thought this would be a clear distinction between the manly, this was the 60s, but Thor, and he wanted to make, Loki look more like a Weasley little, thing and stuff like that. This character, the Hiddleston version, was different times, so, and of course later in Marvel as well. But that's the distinction Kirby was going for. But no, there's still a lot of the ladies that like Chris Hemsworth and all that stuff, But,
oh yeah. But he had, you could tell Tom Hiddleston was having fun. I mean, I would have been having an absolute blast. He has fun. He gets to be the bad guy, but people love him. What's that first Comic-Con he's at? Humanity. Look how far you've fallen. Absolutely. But he was eating that up, and you could tell he was eating that up with that grin he had. He was eating it up. You go back, watch that shit with what's her name that's going to play Jane Foster, where she's holding up the hammer. She looks like she's about to shit herself. He looked like this is my moment. Kneel, mortals. And he was just he was having a blast.
He was. He's terrific in the role. I mean, look, one of my criticisms of the MCU films, which I love a lot of them, but I also criticize them, is they kind of skimp on the villains a little bit.
Yeah.
Not 100%. You've got Loki. You have a great performance by Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. That's great.
Yes.
We should have been more. Obviously Josh Brolin is great as Thanos. Let's see. I kind of liked the way Spader handled Ultron. I mean, I didn't like his origin in the sense that it should have been him, but I do like the film, and so I think he was a good Ultron. And so let's see. Here's another one. But for the most part, even in some of the the good films, there's not much of a villain. Like what they did with a great actor and everything. What they did with Baron Zemo, who was just Zemo, just some dude named Zemo. Then later in Falcon Winter Soldier, they totally contradicted what he was in Civil War, and actually made him a baron and all this kind of stuff. Well, so they totally disregarded what they did in Civil War, because the less said about Falcon Winter Soldier, the better. But I'm just saying. So, but they've always kind of skimped on the villains, but this is not one of those cases. They really did a great job casting him and using him very well.
Yeah,
in all of his appearances. And yes, you get that sense of he loves the character. That is why a lot of people will watch the show. They will watch this show because they want to see him. And even if they don't like it, like as you and I have talked about, and a lot of people have very rightly criticized it for some of the reasons you went into earlier, it will get some viewership because of him. And then when he's not there, I just wonder what kind of viewership it's going to get.
Yep. No, I agree. What's going to happen when Tom's not on the scene?
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. And again, it's still kind of speculation how much he's going to be there. Will he be in every episode just a little bit? But and a lot of people say, wow, there was a female Loki for what? So what? That was later.
Not that female.
Oh, not what they're going to do. No.
Femme Loki that's in the comics, I'll tell you something. First time I saw her, I was like, damn.
Well, yeah.
Damn. That just, wow. Because I'm pretty sure Hela is the one who turned him into Femme Loki. And you're just like, holy shit. That's just, wow. She looks fucking awesome. She looks absolutely positively awesome. The chick you're going to get, I have seen pictures. I don't know if Clobby has any pictures, but I've seen the pictures of what you're going to get.
Oh, really? I'm going to have to look for them.
And just look up, Loki series Femme Loki. And because I saw the production stills of her. Blonde hair, not black. They let her sport the blonde hair. I don't know if they're going to take that out in post-production. I don't know if that's something they did, but she's got the blonde hair in the photo, folks.
Oh my
she does not have a chest. She does not have an ass. She looks like a 14-year-old boy.
From the TV show, I don't want to fucking find that. Hey, Purple, beautiful Purple Valkyrie. Oh, lovely to see you, my dear. Love you, Purple. You got to be kidding me. Is this it right here?
That's her. But they've got production stills of her. Check to the. Yeah, there you go.
Oh boy. Okay.
And this is I'm telling you, this is a Dragon Ball Z moment where she's going to be his ultimate final form. She's going to be the best of Loki.
I mean, she's not an unattractive young lady or anything, but how she will look in the show what doesn't seem too promising.
I mean, if you look at the one from the comic, she's full figured. She looks great. I was blown away when I saw her for the first time. There's a good, Now look at that.
Well, you know why? This was done when
Yes.
comics still made people look like idealized people that made people want to read comics.
Yep.
This was before the physical appearance of comic book characters was considered, istophobia and stuff.
Yeah, you can't do that now, folks. You can't make a woman look good in a comic. You got to make her look scary. You got to make her look armored, or you got to make her look scary. And even if you make her look armored, she's still got to be scary. It's got to be someone. Yeah,
That's her now.
Nope. Nope.
Oh my God, that's her right now, probably, or very recent, I would have to say.
So it's just
as opposed to
that.
Whoa.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. That's just, oh my God, that's so problematic. So yeah, it won't even be that female Loki. Just okay, sure. Well, there you go. I'm sure that's going to be lovely. Not and yeah. So look, he's a great villain. Whole point. That's the basic point. He's been used very well throughout comics history until not that no one's used well now in comics, of course. Yeah, but that's true. When they hate the female form, well, the idiots at Marvel do.
Yeah,
and Disney do anyway. And yeah, he's been again. Let's just forgetting for a second whether you like that episode or not. You're not moving forward. You're not gonna if you're there just to see Tom Hiddleston because you're entertained, even if you don't care about the story that much. You're not gonna get him, folks. And it's gonna get worse. And I just wonder how quick. My only question is how fast that's gonna happen. I'm betting by the end of it, huh?
Oh yeah.
By the end of this next one.
Is the other Loki they are tracking down female Loki?
Yeah.
And do they need a female to hunt down a female? Does he have to become a female? Because no man could ever compete with a woman. Only another woman can compete with another woman.
Right. So you're saying that it's probably, or you don't think it might be, since it's evil, it might be evil, horrible white Loki as a dude, but maybe not necessarily him or something in a different form. And then, of course, the good, wonderful, bestest ever, key to everything, girl Loki will be the one chasing him.
Yeah.
And I guess this is their excuse. Some have speculated this is sort of like a Doctor Who type thing because they're going through time. They're going to try to do that sort of those types of stories. Oh boy.
Look at the writing on the wall. That's all you got to do, guys. Look at the writing on the wall. We've been here before. We've seen this before. We've experienced this over and over and over again. They're killing off Doctor Strange because he is a straight white man.
Right.
They removed Doctor Strange from WandaVision because they couldn't have a straight white man stand up to
mansplaining.
Wanda.
Right. That's right. Look, that's not conjecture right there.
No.
They've confirmed it. Was it that idiot Feige confirmed that?
Feige confirmed that.
Yeah, Feige, whatever.
Killing him off. They're killing him off.
Right.
They can't have a straight white man be powerful anymore. You can't have a straight white man in that position of power. The Sorcerer Supreme is dead, ladies and gentlemen.
MCU, it's ruined. And again, the writing, like you said, the writing's on the wall. It's been coming for a while. It didn't even just start in WandaVision ruining everything. It really started. Well, there were little bitty bits and pieces all the way, going back to maybe Civil War, the movie.
Yeah,
I saw bits and pieces in there of things for the first time. I like that movie. Okay, it was it was enjoyable and stuff, but it really is. But little bitty telltale signs that was around the time people started making those speculations, because that was when they announced. I think that was around the time they announced Captain Marvel.
Yep.
So yeah, get ready.
Look at the end of Age of Ultron. They pulled Captain Marvel out. They had her. They had Captain Marvel. They had a stand-in. They were going to put in with the real actress. They were looking for actress. When all in the middle of all that, they had this filmed. It is in Age of Ultron. This is fact. It's not fiction. They had her all set up to be introduced at the end of Age of Ultron when Cap calls for the Avengers to assemble. Avengers! Dun, 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 dun. They had Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was there. Guess what? She got erased out, so you don't see her, but she was there. The stand-in was ready to put the real one in because that's when they were going to introduce her. And then suddenly, overnight, everything changed.
Yep.
And they said, well, we've got to make a Captain Marvel movie. But wait. You don't have a Wanda movie yet. Well, no, you don't have a Black Widow movie yet. No, but you're gonna make it a Captain Marvel. Yeah, because we're gonna make her soy as hell. She could be drinking off that green titty.
Yeah, that's right around the time it started happening. This is all Feige, folks. Everyone kisses his ass so much. Now great he is. He did some okay stuff early on with a lot of help from Jon Favreau and a few other people, but
that's the key.
The poison it's not fast acting poison for this franchise. It was a very slow acting. So you still got some, fairly fun and good movies for a while until, yeah.
Yep.
I guess.
And this is not like Clobberin saying, this guy is not the end all be all. Do you know how many times he went to the writers of Civil War and said, you can't have Spider-Man, but we need Spider-Man. We can't have him. He's Sony. Work out a deal. Get a Spider-Man. It's not going to happen. Next week, can we get? No, we can't get Spider-Man. You guys, well, we need Spider. No, it's not going to happen week after week after week. This is them saying this. This is not me saying this, guys. This is me. This isn't Loki. This is what they've talked about. The writers of Civil War, the same guys who wrote Infinity War and Endgame, going to him time and time again, and at the last possible moment, he said, we may have a deal. We may have a deal. Don't hold your breath, but we may have a deal. That's like last minute shit right there. This guy is not the end all be all of the MCU. You want to know who created the MCU? It was Favreau. And once he was done, it
Favreau really jump started it. I mean, Feige was there working with him, but again, he's the guy that came in and everyone just worships him so much. Hello there, Blue Hero 96. But yeah, he's the one that with the slow poison, and it took a while, and it's there now. It's fully in place, and that's it, dude. It's over. It's over, Johnny.
Yeah.
And
look at Wanda. Look at this. Look at
Falcon and Winter
Soldier.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
I don't. If you like this, just because Tom's in it, okay, you're not brain dead. You're not. Okay, I can understand watching it for Tom. Hell, I'm watching it because Tom's in it. I'm watching it, but I don't like it. The story is completely screwed, and they are going to waste a huge opportunity they have with him. Because let me tell you, Tom Hiddleston doesn't just do a series. He doesn't just do TV. It's like a mini movie for him, or a longer movie with parts. Part 1, part 2, part 3 of a movie. Think about it like that way, Tom. I never thought about that. And they're going to pay me the money like I'm working on one of the movies. Oh yeah, all right, I'll do it. This isn't a guy that just does TV anymore. He doesn't just go on TV and do a TV show. They are wasting that opportunity with this shitty fucking story.
It's sad, really, when you think of what it could be.
Yeah,
absolutely sad. There's so much potential, well, not just this. Again, this character. See, in order to make him the star of a show, look what you have to do. You have to have a gimmick with the TVA and all that stuff, and because what are you going to do? How are you going to give the show? How are you going to do a show about Loki without having some kind of gimmick? I'm not saying it has to be bad, like it is. I'm just saying, how are you going to do it? Edie Myers, what's up, man?
You know what would have been? You know what would have been so great? And I wish they would have thought of this. Instead of him escaping with the Tesseract in 2012, why didn't they just have Cap standing there with like they've got a tray with the stones on it, and they're gonna send him back. Cap gets the stones, but the Tesseract's not there. That stone's not there. Whatever. You see the Tesseract and it's back into its cube form. You see that Cap picks up the stones, but he doesn't get the Tesseract, and poof, he's gone. Never to be heard from again. Why didn't anybody ever hear from Cap again? Because while they were standing there, Loki stole the fucking Tesseract, and he didn't go back with that one. And they do a whole thing where it's like, well, wait, he didn't die? Holy shit, he didn't die. And at the very end of Endgame, you see the Tesseract glow, and then you see Loki's face, and you're like, you son of a bitch. You acted like you died in Infinity War, and you fooled everyone all over again. I would have loved that. Like, he even pulled Thanos, you big, dumb, blue bastard. I fooled you. Ha ha. I'm always fooling everybody. Thor's grieving. You are my brother, dumb, blonde bastard. And it would have been funny. It would have been funny. And it would have everybody's recovering from the death of Iron Man. The tears and the tears. Fucking Iron Man died. Ha ha, bitches. I'm still alive. Ha ha ha. Would have been great.
Oh, yeah. Hello there, Janet from another planet. Good to see you. Pop culture, Jed there. Jed's there. What's up, dude? Purple has a good point about how if the TVA is so important, then the Eternals are pointless within the MCU. Well, yeah, they are, but they're going to be pointless anyway. But yes, they are. But the thing is, the TVA was never like that in the comic. It was really never used a whole lot. It was something that was, relatively obscure. Walt Simonson came up with it, but then later I think Busiek just like the Timekeepers were even more obscure than that. And I think Busiek used the Timekeepers and invented Adventures Forever. In other words, they were there, but they weren't that big of a deal. Now, of course, you've made them. You've ruined your MCU, and you've made them the be all end all of everything with one episode of Loki.
What did you think about? What did you think about Black Widow? Killing herself to get the Soul Stone.
It worked to good dramatic effect, but it pisses me off because because I think that I don't understand why they couldn't have. You have that happen and then have him when Hulk says he tried to bring her back and it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Why does everything else work? Why is it so powerful that you could snap half the universe out of existence? Or, by the way, that's just one thing. Thanos talked about all this other crap he would have done with it later, remember? So there seems to be no limit to what you can do if you have the gauntlet and all the stones, but you can't do that. Nope. Why?
And it's now pointless.
So it's pointless. Look, Endgame had so many stupid things in it. Let's just be honest. It has. I was watching it again the other night and I've watched it tons and tons of times. It is, as I said the other night, it is the most maddening, great movie I've ever seen because it's on the one hand so, in my opinion anyway, really entertaining with seeing these characters that we've loved for over a decade, seeing them, in spite of some really dumb things that I hate in the film, seeing them together, so many great scenes and yet so many terrible decisions. And that was just one of them. If you're going to have her die like that, look, don't try to tell me you have no stakes. You just killed Tony Stark. That, I guess you could let stand, but why?
That sacrifice doesn't matter, though. Natasha's sacrifice doesn't matter. Remember that cool part when Cap jumped on that grenade before he became Captain America? That doesn't mean anything. He was destined to do that. There was no sacrifice. Do you remember when he beat Red Skull and was in the plane and he made sure it didn't get to New York? He crashed it in the ocean. That doesn't matter anymore. Him giving up his life with Peggy doesn't matter anymore. Thor losing his mother doesn't matter. Thor losing his father doesn't matter. Them defeating Hela doesn't fucking matter because all of it from A to B to C to D to E was all planned out for you in a nice little row, and nothing you do None of the choices you make matter because they're not your own. They're being decided by someone else. Free will does not exist. Get in your line, little lemmings, and do exactly what you're supposed to do, or get vaporized. And you'll be replaced by someone who will do what we want you to do.
It's asinine. And by the way, so you mentioned that is a good point. Why did he the whole snapping of the fingers thing is just symbolic. I mean, you don't have to like you see, you should be able to think about it and let it happen, but I don't know what the whole snap thing is. I guess it was just, I don't know, symbolic. I mean, you got me, but yes, what you said, they just negated everything, but that's what happens when writers don't think about what they're writing. And, they just do it and they don't sit around. None of these people are skilled writers, to be quite honest with you. And they just think, it's fine. This will do. They don't understand how they're going to. And again, it goes back to how these people are not savvy, have no savvy when it comes to geeks, because if they did, they would understand, whatever we do here, we're going to be scrutinized to death by a lot of people who are going to say, why'd you do this? And why'd you do that? They're going to why it to death. Maybe we should think through some of these things we're writing.
Well, I will tell you this. If being in a line like lemmings and doing what you're told and not having free thought, not having free will, there's something that our good friend Adega Outlaw will tell you. Writers write what they know. They pull from their own life experience. What this idea is something that has been ingrained in Hollywood for a while now. It's been ingrained for the last couple of decades. You get in your line, you know your role, and you do what you're told. You don't think out of the box. You don't get out of your line. You don't go off on your own. You are sheep. You are lemmings. When you talk about problems with Hollywood, they write what they know. That is exactly what they have done here. They have written what they know. And they've completely derailed the entire MCU because you're not supposed to deviate from your station. I don't know if I can say the S word here on your channel. I don't want to just assume that I can say what ism this is, but it's an ism and it starts with an S.
As in sexism?
Socialism.
Oh, that one. Well, you can say it. Yeah, well, it's true. That's what it is. Or cultural Marxism. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. You're right. You're right. And that's what the TVA is in this thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. They had a good thing going for almost a decade.
Yep.
And now they don't.
They fucked it up.
They really, really did. It's depressing in a sense. I mean, look, nothing lasts forever. Here's the one thing about that, though. Jeffrey Wilkerson, good to see you. Thank you. It's a new arrival to the show. I've never seen you here before. Good to see you. This has happened to me as a lifelong geek all of my life in terms of having something that I really like ruined by crappy, inferior creators that get a hold of it and run it into the ground and do really dumb things with it. Yeah. I mean, it happened with comic books years and years before. And I'm talking about before all the woke crap destroyed comics. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about lousy, jackasses getting a hold of it. I'm talking about revisionist jerk-offs who take these comics and screw around with them. They take, and this, I understand that the original creators so many of them are long since dead and gone, unfortunately. But these are people taking the creations of others, not just the corporations taking them and sucking them dry and profiting on them like vampires. That's, of course, also mostly the case, but also the people that they hand these things to produce their hamburger product of these things, often, like these corporations, have no respect for the creators that went before. And if you do complain about it as a fan, get a life.
Yep.
You're a geek, you're an incel, you're all these other things and stuff like that, which is what I've gotten it forever, because I simply don't like to see, because I've always said I don't like to see people destroy what went before. I believe people don't show respect for what went before and the creators of these characters that have made this corporation, in this case Marvel and later Disney and all this other stuff, billions of dollars.
Yep.
billions of dollars, but they show no respect for the people who created these things in the first place. But they're certainly willing to milk them. And now that they've got their money and their billions that they've made off of this MCU, they've decided they don't care anymore. So they'll let a guy like Feige just run into the ground with agenda.
Well, they're even promoting. They are openly promoting the agenda now, because
They're not hiding it.
Yeah, the one of the writers, I believe it's for DC, he wrote for Superman, Batman, and a couple of other ones, came out and said, and this was in response to a question, he came out and said the reason why we are taking characters like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and changing them to conform to today's ideals is because it would take too long to create an entirely new character that would be immediately popular. It would take too long. We have access to characters that have a huge fan base, so we are going to change them. That's why you have Black Superman. That's why you have Black Batman. That is why they are doing what they are doing, and they are fundamentally changing the ideals and vision of those characters to conform to today, is because it would take them too long to create characters they want that will be popular. He straight up said, we have access to characters with huge fan bases. It would be idiotic of us not to change them to conform to today's standards. And today's standards is woke.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeffrey Wilkerson is new here, so I'll address the question there. We kind of touched on this earlier, Jeffrey. As I said, because Loki's the first Marvel villain to get his own TV show. You know, if Marvel decided a live-action villain movie, which character should they start with? In an ideal world where there actually was a good Marvel, first of all, I don't think you should ever have a villain with its own movie or TV show anyway, personally. However, if I had to pick one, I would say the greatest villain of them all, Dr. Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, I'm totally there with Clobberin, and not that metal skinned freak we got in the first Fantastic Four movie.
No, not that one.
Real Doctor Doom origin story. Yes, I'm right there. That's the first one they should do. And I'm a huge Loki fan. I want Tom to have his own damn movie. I wanted him to get his own movie. I'd still go with Doctor Doom before I'd go with Loki.
Yeah, I think Doom would be the best one there, but I'm biased. But again, I love Loki. But villains. Here's the thing about let's kind of be on the Wonderful Purple Valkyrie, and I've done a couple of shows about villains because people do love villains.
Yes,
but being honest, villains are a narrative tool for heroic fiction. They are there to provide the function of being the catalyst for a heroic story. The better the villain, the better the hero and the story. They're there for the hero. They are for that function of that especially in terms of heroic fiction, be it superheroes or whatever. So I'm just saying that ideally I would never really, in the early 70s, Marvel tried some experiments with some characters. They actually, and DC actually did a Joker comic. We had his own comic for a very short time. It did not last long. I remember seeing it on the shelf on the spinner rack as a youngster, going, a Joker comic. Now, of course, they stuck Green Arrow on one of them. They stuck Sherlock Holmes on the cover of one of them. And I look at it, but the money that the comics that competed for my bicycle quarter, I still would rather buy a superhero comic.
Yeah.
Marvel tried it with a supervillain team up, and it was Doctor Doom was the headliner when he would also have Submariner and Red Skull and things like that, and superheroes would be on there. But still, villains are there for the hero. Ideally, I'm not saying you can't ever do a movie. I'm not saying you ever can do you shouldn't do a movie or shouldn't do a comic of it. But for the most part, I got to tell you, it doesn't really interest me all that much. But if they do one, for me, I would say it again. Doom would be great. I know they did that. They did that Joker movie. People say that's one, but can we just be honest about that movie? Whether you like that movie or not? And I thought it was interesting. That's nothing to do with the Joker from the Batman universe. That was an excuse to get a bloated budget for an indie film about a crazy nut calling himself Joker. It's nothing to do with the Batman universe. And if you like that movie, I'm not trying to offend you. I thought it was interesting. That's not the Joker from the Batman universe. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't think.
Ironcaster said something, if I can find it. Magneto. Ironcaster brought up Magneto. In my opinion, and I know some people will argue this to death, First Class is Magneto's movie. Having Michael Fassbender play Magneto, and that's like the origin. It's the origin story of Magneto. He. That's the only thing I like about that movie is Fassbender's take on Magneto. I'm not a First Class fan. I liked Days of Future Past. I think that's one of the best X-Men movies they made is Days of Future Past. But First Class, I wasn't sold on it. I didn't like the heroes, mutant and proud. But Fassbender, yeah. As Magneto,
He's great. He's great. He was terrific. And that's the only X-Men movie I don't think I ever sat through. Because I don't really like the X-Men movies that much, but that's just me there. Mark the Infinitely Tired, you did mention earlier Jim Shooter. I forgot to mention. Yeah, he did do a lot of destruction, didn't he? But but Jim Shooter's complicated, bud. Jeffrey Wilkerson asks, let's see here. Since they came out with Marvel Legends, Bring on the Bad Guys line. Yeah, Bring on the Bad Guys. That was the title of an old Marvel Fireside 3 paperback from the 70s that I still have somewhere. They did a wave of those. Yeah. Do you think they will ever do a live action based on No, I don't think they will. I think they're more concerned with doing the MCU the way they want to do it right now. So I'd say probably not, but you never know. I'd say probably not. At least certainly, it takes them so long to make movies anyway. But yeah, villains are great, but
they need a special touch, and they need someone that can really, really convey what is going on. I used to love that the Fox X-Men show. I don't know if you ever watched that.
Yes, I did watch.
Okay, that episode, the first episode where Magneto turns around and he's actually fighting alongside the X-Men. There's a reason why I loved Magneto back in the day, and that's because he is almost the same as Charles. They only differ in how they're fighting their threat. To Charles, people need to be educated. People need to be shown that mutants are just like human beings. They just have they have abilities, but they're still human beings. Magneto he wants the same thing, but he doesn't feel that that'll happen until mutants rule the world. They technically want the same thing. They're just going about it very differently.
Right.
And I love that.
Like, some of your greatest villains don't think they're villains. Doom doesn't think he's a villain.
Yeah, Loki didn't think he was a villain.
No. Good night, Arwen. Thank you for being here, dude. Thank you.
Good night, Arwen.
Good night. It's lovely to have you here. But yes, many villains don't think they're the villain. That's one of the great things about the Joker. When written correctly, he's scary because he loves being one, and he admits it. He knows he's horrible. He's pure evil.
Yeah.
Doom thinks he's right about everything. Doom knows he's doing bad things, but he thinks it's all, ends justify the means type of a guy. So yeah, I kind of agree with Loki there. Mads Mikkelsen, instead of the way they kind of didn't do much with him in Doctor Strange, he would have been a good Doom in an actual good. I think he would have been a good Doctor Doom. But yes, Magneto is another one of those he's conflicted, but he comes out as a villain because the things he's doing to reach his goals. Was it? Yeah, Pat S. That's a little murky with the Submariner. Pat S. asked if wasn't Submariner originally a villain. He's always been something of an anti-hero. He was very angry with the surface world, and he wanted to. He wanted to come up there and start, not necessarily wiping it out, but he wanted to come up there and try to teach it a lesson. JT Kirk, good to see him. And ended up seeing that the Yahtzees and all the bad guys around the world, the bad people doing bad things back then were worse. And so he put his differences aside, and he became a member of the All Winners Squad, later retconned into a name like the Invaders, and teamed up with Captain America and other heroes to be the original Human Torch and things like that, to be a hero. So Subby's kind of heroic. He's not evil. He's angry, and he's sort of thing of an anti-hero sometimes.
I would love to really delve into that one night with you. If you ever want to talk, anti-heroes. If you ever want to talk anti-heroes and villains, I would love to do that. Like real in-depth jump into that one night with you. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Because anti-heroes, they're not my favorite thing in the world, but I do find some of the ones that are anti-heroes fascinating.
Yes.
They are interesting.
I grew up in a very, this is good, this is bad. Like my dad, he read some of the very first comics. He had the original Fantastic Four, he had the original Spider-Man. He had all these old, extremely great comic books. And one thing he would not have anything to do with is anti-heroes. You're either a good guy or you're a bad guy.
It sounds like me.
And I have always been exactly the opposite. There's a big ass gray area there you're missing. No, there's not. Well, yes, there is. No, there's not. And it's always been. I loved Magneto. Magneto was probably, for the longest time, Magneto was my favorite villain because of exactly that. Because they both want to protect mutants. They both want to save mutants. They both want to make sure mutants carry on and carry forward into new generations. It's just you got the peaceful Professor X, and you've got the Magneto that'll go to any length to make sure that they're protected, even putting them in danger.
Yep. And you got I like the clear-cut stuff, but it doesn't mean I don't like the other stuff too. I love Subby. I mean, and he's a total a-hole, but he's not evil. I don't know. I like the lines blurred as well. Don't get me wrong, but I guess I do. I think with villains, I like that a little bit. With heroes, I like them to be a little bit more clear-cut. Conflicted, sure. Well, Han Solo at his best was kind of an anti-hero.
Yes. And strangely enough, that was actually one of my father's best heroes. That and God, Raiders of the Lost Ark. God, my mind's going. I've been up too long. Indiana Jones. That and Indiana Jones. You want to talk about his two favorite heroes? That and Indiana Jones and Superman. Those were the best for him. Indiana Jones because he was a history professor, and he raided tombs, and then Han because Han was a bad guy, and Han chose to be a good guy. Han was a bad guy. He was a smuggler. He killed people. And then he made that switch and became a hero.
Well, see, I like those redemption stories about that. Stephen Strange was a complete self-absorbed a-hole.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's another one that he liked too. He, believe it or not, he introduced me to Doctor Strange. He was like, "Oh, have you read I have no idea who Doctor Strange is." "Oh, you need to read it. It's really good." Okay.
Wow.
Total asshole that turned into a hero. Apparently he didn't have a problem with that. Assholes that turned into heroes or bad guys that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, the Hulk was he was pretty much borderline villain at first.
Yeah.
He was nasty. He talked like a jerk. He didn't, I'm a big fan of the Hulk smash childlike Hulk. I love it. But that's because it's the first one I saw. But in his earlier appearances, he's more of he talks like a borderline villain because he is sort of based in a lot of ways on Mr. Hyde, the whole Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Yep.
And so he's not a dullard. Later, I guess, for whatever reason, the intelligence went down and he became the Hulk Smash Hulk, which I dearly love, by the way. But early on, he was not nice. And he was, again, in those if you look at his early Marvel Comics appearances, he's a jackass. He even threatens Rick all the time. And when he joins up with the Avengers, he really only fights alongside him because he didn't like being used by Loki. And he leaves at Avengers #2.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting aspect to the character. Yep, in the first or maybe second issue. Well, there you go. Steve Mitchell just put it up there right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. He was as opposed, and again, but my favorite character of all time, Ben J. Grimm, the ever loving blue eyed thing. Um, he's a hero through and through. But what I love about him so much is, his story is usually when a character in one of these fictional comic book type universes or fantasy universes becomes a quote unquote monster, they act like a monster.
Yep.
They do monstrous things because they've been turned into a monster. Ben Grimm walked that line, that precipice in those early issues of Fantastic Four. He was angry. He was scary. He was this lump. He wasn't even very rocky at that point. He was kind of lumpy. They were still defining the character. He attacked Reed Richards a couple of times for turning him into a monster. He was angry. He walked that abyss, but he stayed good. He stayed a hero. That's why I love him so much. But I also do love it when characters have redemption stories where they started out, maybe, Hawkeye started out as a bad guy, for example.
Yeah. There's an issue of X-Men that came out last year. I can't remember if anybody knows, because I don't keep track of any of that. But there's a group of Xavier students that literally they kill these people that are protesting, and these are supposed to be Yahtzee type people. They kill them just for their point of view.
Wow.
And it is oh well, they've got these armbands on that are black and red, and they hurt mutants and yada 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 yada. None of these students that did this had anything happen to them like what happened to the Punisher or to Magneto. And there were people that were defending this. Well, you don't have any problem with Magneto, and you don't have any problem with the Punisher, and there are people that do stuff like this all the time. Punisher's whole family got killed, and he got left for dead. That is the reason why the Punisher does what the Punisher does. Magneto was locked in a concentration camp. His family was killed, and he was tortured. That is why Magneto does what he does. The new kids over at the academy, nothing like that. Absolutely nothing like that happened to them. And before they do this, and they are in this crowd, they are all talking with each other about how they are going to kill these people in a public forum. There is a huge ass difference between that and what Magneto did or what the Punisher did. A huge ass difference. And that's because people today can't write.
No, that's right. They can't at all.
Sorry, I got on my soapbox.
No, I got you. Well, he wasn't a villain, but he wasn't a good guy at first, and he was an absolute jackass, though. Phantom Outsider. But anyway, so I don't know where we were going with all this, other than we were talking about villains and stuff like that.
We were talking about villains and the Hulk, and why does Hulk get away with some of the shit? Well, he's the Hulk. He's not David Banner anymore. He's a completely different person. He's a monster. That's what he turned into originally. Was a monster. He didn't talk Hulk smash. No, he killed people.
He talked like a jerkweed.
Yeah,
but I mean, in the comic, they didn't let him go far as killing anybody in the early ones. But I mean, he was pretty.
And I'm thinking Ultimates when.
Oh, Ultimates! Yeah, I'm not an Ultimate.
He basically destroyed New York and killed all these people, and that's because it's a monster. They made him out to be a monster, but there's a reason behind that. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a reason behind that. Sure. Hulk's not right in the head. Pat said it perfectly. Thank you, Pat. He's not right in the head. It's not David Banner. David Banner's not at the wheel. It's the Hulk, and I hated that in fucking Endgame. That's one of my biggest pet peeves about Endgame is you've got Banner and the Hulk is the exact same person, and that's no.
Yeah, I mean, it had been done in comics before the Professor Hulk crap, and it just, you know what? My biggest problem with that was that, it. I guess it was okay what they did to us with Infinity War, although I really wanted to see Hulk, but doing that where they gave us him in wearing the Veronica, the Hulkbuster armor. Okay, but because we knew, just like we didn't get a lot of Cap in that film, but we knew that the second film, the next film, Endgame, we were going to get more of what we wanted, which was more Hulk, more Cap, things like that. So we're like, okay, it's two-parter.
Hulk's dead.
And then we don't get the Hulk that we wanted. We get Professor Hulk.
Yeah. Hulk, and that's because Hulk's dead. That guy everyone loved in Thor, in the what's his Ragnarok? The third Thor movie. I'm blanking. Too damn tired. The third Thor movie. That Hulk, Hulk no like you, Hulk fire, raging fire, Thor burning. Oh, that Hulk, he's dead. He's gone.
Yeah,
Banner killed him. Ragnarok. Thank you, Dave Bob. The Hulk you loved in Ragnarok, he's gone. He's dead. David Banner replaced him. Oh, I'm always at the wheel now. He killed him. That's what they did.
Yeah.
And they killed the character.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Some of the stuff with Bruce was kind of funny in Infinity War, but yeah, the payoff should have been we should have got Hulk back, the Hulk we all wanted to see. But then again, they did, like I said, that film is filled with bad decisions, such as not just Professor Hulk, but Fat Thor and a lot of other dumbass things. As far as I'm concerned, Steve Rogers going back in time and marrying Peggy's crap. He should have been with Sharon Carter and stayed where he was. They just did that again. That's Feige, so he could pass the shield on. That's the only reason he did it. Well, my Cap doesn't quit like that. So as bad as this sounds, it's almost better to kill him at least than bastardize his character by having him be so selfish to go back in time to live that long life again with Peggy. By the way, didn't that change time? Did the TVA do anything about that?
They said it was destined. He was always destined
full of crap.
to do that.
Well, then why did she say in what was it in Winter Soldier when there was an interview where she talked about how her husband, a man that would eventually become my husband? No, see, that's retcon garbage.
Yep, it is.
It sucks. Garbage. There's all kind of retcon garbage done in the past couple of shows, and Endgame started it. Well, they started a little bit before. They put a lot of dumb stuff in it, but Endgame was the retcon, and again, it's so much entertaining stuff in it. But Cap does not quit, and now he has to live that life and see all the crap coming up and not do anything about it. Captain America, screw that, no way, not my Cap.
That's his place. They put him in his place.
Not my crap. He should have. Look, I love Sharon. I mean, I love Peggy and all that stuff, but she wasn't meant to be. And the real Cap should end up with Sharon Carter. They ruined her too in Winter Soldier, by the way.
In the comic, she ends up with Bucky.
But I mean, he was with her for a while. You talk about later crap, though.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about real Cap stuff. That's modern stuff. I don't count it because I hate all that. As soon as they killed Cap with that filthy Civil War drivel comic, and I hate Civil War anyway, so. You're right, but none of that counts to me, so I stopped reading it. So Cap should be with Sharon Carter. But he definitely shouldn't be with Peggy and back in the past.
No, he shouldn't. He should not be with Peggy. I loved Peggy. I thought Peggy was great, but that wasn't destined to be. Oh, but it is because the three lizards say it is. No. That wasn't meant to be. There's a reason why it tugged at his heartstrings so bad, because he knew I can never be with her. I have to keep being Cap. I can't give up being Cap. I'm Cap. He sacrificed himself to be there for everyone. That is what I almost died to become this, to be there for everyone, to fight for good and honor and truth and America. he gave up being normal to do that. And it is what he wanted. And there's so many times in the movies where he could have walked away from shit. And that started at the end of Civil War. I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to walk away from being an Avenger.
Phantom Outsider, that's their excuse, but I don't buy it. It's crap. I mean, yeah, you're right. That's what they say. Now their excuse would be she was lying, and that's why she had to pick a skinny Cap. It sucks. I hate it. So that's true. That's what their excuse is, but I don't have to like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't like it. Well, the TVA aren't really like the Watchers with the Infinity Watch thing so much, but they are sort of like it. The TVA and the time, the Timekeepers and things like that were pretty obscure. And then they just dredged them all. It's just all a bunch of.
It's because they don't know the lore.
They don't know. I don't know what they probably Googled something, but the thing is, I don't know.
That's why lore is a bad word now.
Well, when you start messing around with time anyway, you always put yourself in a trick box.
Yep. Don't go down that road. They went down that road anyway.
That's why, when in-game, when I first saw it, because I don't always do this, but I kind of avoided most of the info about it. I went in. I'm not one who really cares about spoilers that much, but I did, so I didn't know exactly how they were going to deal with everything. When I started to realize it was going to be time travel, and I've heard some other people kind of mumble about it as well. It's going to be time travel, this, that, or whatever. I was like, okay. I mean, there's precedent for it. They used to do it all the time in comics. Avengers did all kind of things in comics with time travel and stuff before, but it's messy.
It's messy.
Maybe you don't need to do that. Again, like I said, every single thing in that movie was a bad decision. Entertaining, maybe, but still a bad decision.
Yeah.
You talked about not thinking things through on Loki or on Falcon Winter Soldier on a WandaVision. Hey, how about Endgame? They didn't think about a damn thing with that one. No thought goes in these movies anymore.
There was a way for them to get Cap back in the past, like he had never fought. All they had to do, and Iron Man could still buy it. So you get everything that happened. All you have to do is explain. While you guys are screwing with this stuff, while you guys are screwing with the past, you are permanently altering the future. These things cannot be undone. It's not like you can be like, whoopsie, and fix it and go back again and fix it, because you're going to make the problem worse and worse and worse. So if something happens and it changes the timeline, it's changed. It's just, it's done. It's borked. You have to deal with the consequences, because if you try and go back, you're going to make it 10 times worse. So you eventually, you make sure Thanos goes down, but you lose Cap. Cap never goes into the future. You lose Iron Man fighting Thanos. Things permanently are changed, and you've got a different universe where people don't know what happened. Cap never becomes Cap. He never meets Nick Fury until he's a lot older. Maybe you could say like Cap was Nick's teacher. Cap taught Nick Fury how to be Nick. And because Nick Fury's like that, when Captain America passes away of old age, because he never ever did what he did. He never came to the future. You've got him passing on the shield to someone in a new. You get everything you wanted, and it's all tidy. But you've got a new universe to contend with, which is what they did anyway. They've just overcomplicated it so bad that you don't know which way is up, you don't know which way is down, you don't know what's going to happen next, because now we've just borked everything. But we can always go back in time.
It's such a crutch.
But that would have prevented them from doing it again and again and again. It would have prevented them from ever thinking, well, we can mess with the timeline. Now the door's open. They can do whatever. Loki did it. Oh, Loki diverted the timeline, and now we've got Time Lords saying you can't do this and you can't do that, and blah, 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 blah. Just say, hey, anything you do in the past is going to shockwave into the future, and when you get back, things are going to be different. and maybe Cap had just enough juice to fight Thanos before he got erased, and then we find out that old Cap never left after World War II. Cap was never frozen. He lived his life. Not Steve goes back and decides to live with Peggy out of nowhere.
Yep. A lot of good points being made in the chat. I'd spotlight them all, but we'd be here forever. But you're all exactly right. And, the 5-year gap was moronic. I hate it so much. And it put them in even worse position. They wrote themselves in. I mean, this is some of the worst writing. And I mean, starting with even Infinity War, which I love as a movie, and Endgame, and then later the other stuff beyond that, after that, I should say, is some of the worst freaking writing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
No thought goes into it. And by the way, it's not the first time I've ever seen that kind of thing. We've seen it in comics and other things before, but it never works out right. One of the most acclaimed Avengers miniseries comics ever was Avengers Forever by Kurt Busiek, one of my favorite writers. I liked it, but it's got some of the dumbest time screw-ups in there because he had to play around with time and Space Phantoms and Kang the Conqueror and all that stuff. Most people say, "Oh man, I loved it." It's pretty good, but when it doesn't quite pass the think test when you read it, and it's similar to this. Now it's 10 times better than this crap, but it has its faults because when you start playing around with time and saying, making excuses for things that happened and say there were people tampering with every bit of time, it just, oh man, it gives your readers or viewers a headache. We don't want a headache. We want to watch and enjoy something. Ever do a Fear Itself or War of the Realms? The story, story being that Loki just jumped in time. I don't know if they will do those stories adaptations in particular, Jeffrey, but they will. I tell you this, going forward, they'll probably mine bits and pieces from them like they do everything else, because that's what they do with all their stuff. Loki is they don't do straight adaptations of anything in particular, even when they use a title like Civil War, a title like Age of Ultron that is from something else. They strip mine bits and pieces here and there, and then incorporate it into their own crap. Yes, cherry pick it.
Yeah, they cherry pick through the stories and decide we want this, we want this, we want this, but leave all this shit out.
Latest Steve Mitchum, bro. Exactly right. So they will never, I think, Jeffrey, they will never just do a straight adaptation, even if they, like, for example, Age of Ultron, which is named after something I didn't really care for, but it was an actual miniseries. It's really zero to do with that miniseries, aside from a few bits and pieces here and there and the title itself. And that's what they always.
They did the same thing with Thanos.
And Infinity War is nothing like the comic book Infinity War or Infinity Watch or Infinity Gauntlet or any of those things.
Yep.
It strip mines little different things here and there, cherry picks, and then they just, and that's look at whether it's WandaVision, whether it's any of the films, or whether it's Falcon, Winter Soldier. There's a reason why they have all of these. I always like to look at in the end credits of these shows or films and see all the different names. Since I'm a comic book creator kind of guy, I love comics history, and I love, as you know, I talk too much about comic book artists and writers and shit like that. Yep. So I always look into the credits to see what names are there. Old school names that are from comics past gone by, whether it's gold, silver, or bronze age people. And when I see their names get mentioned, I go, oh yeah, well, it figures because they used that from this story or whatever. I see some names that are pretty obscure in the acknowledgments. Now, by the way, they're not getting paid a dime. Ed Brubaker didn't get a dime for his use of Winter Soldier in the film Winter Soldier or in Falcon and Winter Soldier. He because they had the loophole of Kirby, Simon and Kirby created Bucky. Yeah. And he's still Bucky with a different name. And they didn't pay him a damn thing, even though they used a bunch of elements from his story. The Winter Soldier film, which I love, uses a lot of bits and pieces here and there from the Winter Soldier story arc, but not much. And they didn't pay the guys who did it. They didn't pay Ed Brubaker or Steve Epting anything for it. They put their names in the credits, though. Woohoo. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that's true. Purple, I do that with the credits. I like to see what names of comic book creators that are, artists and writers they put in there. So, but yeah, so that's what they will never adapt any one story. It's not. No. It's never. They'll just cherry pick what they want. That's about it, and they'll make up their own crap, and it'll be inferior. And going forward, it'll be worse than it ever was. It's already bad. So don't look for it to be any better. Ever. But you guys all know that, don't they?
I know it.
I think most people do. There's the thing, Loke. Most people do. I mean, obviously, if you didn't really, people who paid any kind of attention to comics, even if it's just on a rudimentary level, are not really liking this stuff. Who's liking any of this stuff? I don't think a lot of people are.
No.
Even people who are just casual. But casual fans, remember, as I've always said, these characters are not really comic book characters anymore. They're movie characters now. To Joe Public, I mean, they might have some sort of, minuscule, knowledge that these are characters that originate from comic books. A lot of them, but they don't. Many of them never read these characters in comics, and maybe they saw a cartoon here and there of some of the more famous ones. But, yeah, good point, Chris Persia. Ed Brubaker did make a cameo in Winter Soldier, was it? Or yeah, he got paid for that, but he never got any royalties.
Nope.
So yeah, they don't. These characters, but I think Joe Public is. I mean, look, the last movie was Endgame, and it made a lot of money. There's some suspicion about Captain Marvel, how much it actually made, but Endgame legitimately made a ton of money. But these things are on this app service now. There hasn't been a Marvel movie in a theater in a couple of years now. And when they get back to theaters, the 3 that are out there that are allegedly going to hit theaters, they're not going to make a lot of money.
No.
They're going to start dropping money, hemorrhaging money, and they're on the Disney app. So that's, there's not a good gauge of how popular these things are. Fans watch them out of morbid curiosity at this point. For the first time, there's going to be some Marvel movies in a theater that I don't want to go see, even out of curiosity.
Yeah, even out of curiosity. Exactly. Can I ask, is there anybody watching this that is interested in Black Widow?
Yeah, but she should have got her movie. We all agree she should have got her movie a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
It might be an okay
before after Age of Ultron, somewhere
at least at minimum around after Age of Ultron. But no, and again, who got blamed for it? By the way. They kept saying, we didn't want to make a Black Widow movie because the toxic fanboys won't go watch it. Well, bullshit.
Bullshit.
You make it, we'll go watch it, and we'll judge it accordingly. But that's crap. That's your cowardice, Kevin Feige boy.
That's right.
You could have made this movie a long time ago. Purple Soda. Go ahead.
How do they cover it up? They make Captain Marvel, and they scream at everybody that doesn't like it because it's a powerful, independent woman.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, Purple, no, I don't think they did. Do you think MCU inspired normies to delve into? No, it didn't. Well, early on, I think it did a little bit. And if you talk to some people who had comic shops at that point, they'll tell you that every time somebody did bring their kid in the early days to say, oh, I want to get an Iron Man comic for my kid. Or even people who said, I want to see an Iron Man comic. It was garbage because they would come out with an Iron Man movie. Then they would put Riri Williams as Iron Man and get rid of Tony Stark.
Yep.
They did away with a Captain America movie and killed Steve Rogers in the same comics, the same time. They're morons. So if there might have been a few people, stragglers here and there, that might have said, oh, I like these movies. I might want to go read these, or I might want to buy some of these comics for my kid. And they would get them, and it would be utter shite because Marvel's utter shite. And so it happened for a little while, then it stopped happening. No one cares anymore about the comics. So
it's sad. It's sad. It really is sad. I was in a comic shop a couple weeks ago. Damn near empty. Some guy came in with a bunch of old Superman comics and sold them. Besides that, there was almost nobody in there. I go to a store that has a whole bunch of video games and movies, comics and toys. Yeah, there's a bunch of people in there, but guess what? They aren't digging through those comic books. They're looking at toys, they're looking at video games, they're looking at movies, and then they got like a rack of comics no one's looking at.
Yeah. That 70s was up, dude. Those racks are pathetic, dude. When I go to the comic shop and see how staggeringly uninteresting. Well, we do it on the comic roundtable as well. We look at like the new arrivals for each week and how it just looks like so many bad dead trees. It's just, It's horrible. It's
I'm
horrible.
backlogging. I'm backlogging right now. I'm going back and buying stuff that I either don't have a copy of, or I have a copy that's signed that I don't want to open. That's all I'm doing now, is backlogging old books, looking for stuff I need.
The only thing to do, yeah. And like Blue Hero says, yeah, omnibuses and epic collections. That's what I only care about now these days too. Omnibus will, man, that'll break your back. Those things are so heavy, but yeah, I love the epic collections. I know that's don't tell 24 on me, because you don't like no reprints. But I'm there for the story and the comic. Yep. I love having the originals as much as the next guy, but I love the compilations. I always do. I mean, but though I love the originals. Jeffrey Wilkerson says, I am meaning interested in the Black Widow, but it should have dropped before the game. In game, because they killed off Widow. Yeah, it really does affect it that they killed her off. There's no question about that, Jeffrey. But yeah, I can't say I'm not. I mean, will I watch it at some point? Sure. But would I go out of my way to watch Black Widow now? I don't know, man. If somebody wants to go, hey, let's go to a movie. I don't know if I would, but I tell you what, Shang-Chi, and I like Master of Kung Fu, the comics, the old ones. That movie holds no interest for me, and Eternals even less. So you know how I'm about Kirby.
Yeah.
But that's not Kirby.
No, it's not. And we're just going to get more shit. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get more crap. It's because they don't care about the lore. Lore's ist, Vogue, and Yahtzee now. If you bring up lore, you're just a toxic male that is holding on to past whatevers. It's a complete disrespect. It's their way of defending their complete disrespect, and I don't give a fuck what came before attitude.
That's right. It's absolutely right. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Oh, my goodness. But you know what, dude? I tell you what, I love doing this. I love sitting here just talking about comics and stuff with you, man. Look how long we've gone. To me, I hope it didn't pass like 5 minutes to me, man. It's just great.
No,
a couple hours, dude.
It goes by the blink of an eye.
I love doing this stuff, man. We're just talking about this stuff, and we have such a great crowd with us here tonight.
Yeah, we get called haters.
We're haters. And then to address that, by the way, yeah, I love trades, especially, man. There's nothing like getting a real cheap deal, a good deal on a cheap trade paperback or something like that. But yeah, and so here's the thing: the people who I hate that term, by the way, hater. Hate the term haters, because you just get called a hater if you quit. Look, I get something I've gotten all my life. I've told you about that. You hate everything. You know what? I wish I hated everything. They wouldn't have all this clutter all over the place. And these things that I wouldn't buy something I hate. I promise you.
You wouldn't care.
No, but I do hate what's being done to certain characters. Again, we can argue about it. Some people like these new things that are done to them. I just don't.
Me and Clobby don't agree on everything. I liked the Ultimate series. I did.
Oh yeah.
Reading through Cap again, kind of knowing that story, but them telling it in a new way. I thought it was respectful to the original character. I liked the Ultimate. I hate to say this. I loved Thor. Thought Thor was kick-ass. I like the way they look. I like this. I like the style. I love Death of Superman, the Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
I love all that shit. Clobby don't. I don't hate him because he doesn't like it. That's his opinion, and I completely am cool with that opinion. And that's the difference. That's the difference. We want to say we don't like something, and we get fingers pointed at us and get talk shit about. But me and him can completely agree. We do not agree on this. You like this. I don't like this. And we're still sitting here talking like grown adults who love comics. That's all that matters, is we love comics. They don't love comics. That's the problem. They don't love comics.
They don't understand them or know them. And like Loki was saying, for those of you who are new who don't know us, here all opinions are welcome. Now, as in a friendly way, we might razz each other when we disagree on stuff and tease each other and joke around. But we always want to know it's being done with a smile or kidding around, so we don't agree on things. Big deal. There's all kind of stuff I like that other people think are crap. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. But I also believe in critical thought and being able to criticize something if you think it needs to be criticized. And if you don't like it, say so. I mean, even if I think it's the greatest thing ever and you think it's the worst crap ever, it doesn't bother me. and it shouldn't bother you, vice versa. You know, yeah. Look at that. Pat S is from down here, and he likes shrimp. Ugh. He knows I hate I hate bug seafood. I like fish.
Actually, I don't like shrimp.
Oh, there's two of us then.
I don't like shrimp. I don't like crawfish. Have you ever been to a crawfish boil? Let me tell you.
I live in Louisiana, dude.
Yeah. Every Memorial Day, I had to deal with that shit. Family doing crawfish boils.
Oh yeah.
The box and the ripping and the nom nom nom, and you're just like, oh, you guys, give me a hamburger any day.
Yes.
Over that shit.
It's perfectly natural. I hate crawfish. Ugh.
Dave Bob loves crawfish. I love crawfish. I can't stand it.
I hate it all, man. I hate it all. But and there's the thing. I am a picky eater anyway, but all opinions are always welcome here. So I always, it's good to come out. It's actually good to reiterate that, because when new people show up and they don't know us, we always want to be friendly and have a good time. If we disagree, hey, it's cool. Again, and we tease each other about it sometimes, but that's about it. Love what you love. I really do believe in that philosophy. Like what you like. If you like that new episode of Loki, yeah, fine. If you like it next week, fine. I mean, look, I'm actually going to sit through it. That's how smart I am. I say I don't like it, but I'm going to sit through
part 2.
I'll watch part 2. I know, yep. And maybe you will, Tyler. I guess you're going to watch it.
I will.
I'll usually watch stuff and stick with it for a while, even if I didn't like it. And look, because if I can sit through all of Falcon Winter Soldier, which I know some people like, but I hate it, I'll sit through any old damn thing.
I'll one up you, Batwoman, on the CD.
If you can sit through Batwoman, you can sit. I mean, Loki's probably high art compared to that. So.
I've sat through Batwoman.
Oh boy!
Even the new episode where now Luke is a super fucking kung fu badass, and he is because he got shot by a white guy. That's how he got his superpowers.
That's how you get superpowers.
You get
that
shot
is true.
By a white guy, and you become a kung fu fucking master, and your whole demeanor changes, and you hate white people because you got shot by a white guy. You got shot by a white cop.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I survived P hard and some of STD, so I'm with you there, Mark D. But
did you hear about how they're going to bring Kate Kane's back?
No.
By the power of vagina, I compel you. They're going to bring her memory back by making her a lesbian again.
Now I want to watch it. And that's bad.
God.
Oh my God, Jeffrey! I'm about to get robbed on eBay without a gun to buy Marvel DC crossover classics. That much? Holy crap! The trade paperback.
Damn.
Oh man, that you talking the trade? Wow, dude. That's. I mean, look, if you got the scratch, buddy, go for it, man. But that's something for a trade. But I hear you, robbed indeed, man. But you do what you got to do there, sir. I mean, as one who loves, and I love some of those are reprints of some of those early. That's volume 5. Volume 5, not even. Whoa.
I can't talk. I can't talk. You don't want to know how much money I spent on Transformers this year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Jeffrey. We all do it, bud. We all spend. Yeah. Amazon just screwed me over. I think I might have ordered the same Blu-ray twice. They sent me. I ordered the Roddenberry Vault finally. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes.
Came out in 2016. They got a lot of deleted scenes. They found this vault and stuff. That Star Trek DVDs. And we got a message saying undeliverable. And went back up there, and I think I ordered it again, and all of a sudden it came in today. If they send me an extra one,
send it back.
Oh yeah, I will.
Yeah, just send it back.
But yeah, so look, we feel
give it away. Give it away. Shit.
I guess, yeah. Should have got it a long time ago. Well, I think I already did. I think I already did. No, I didn't do it. So that's the comic book crossovers. Did I do a show on that already? God damn it. I did superhero battles. I don't think I did the superhero comics crossover. So that's coming soon. Every Monday night I got to think of a new Monday. Here on Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk, I got to think of a new topic.
Yeah.
And now I don't know what I'm gonna do next week. Last week, we had a great crowd. I had a lot of fun. I talked about comics, comics based on, magazines based on comics journalism of the past, 'Cause I don't know if you know what we're talking about there, but a lot of people said I didn't think anyone would care. A lot of people showed up. I don't know if you ever used to get any of these magazines, if you were, but man, and it was funny when I was doing it because a lot of people don't know about all these. This is when there was a healthy, thriving comic book industry, my friends, and that was when you cared. You got the new issue of Amazing Heroes or Comics Journal or what have you,
Wizard.
and that's
Wizard.
Well, I was going to bring up Wizard because everyone was
Yes.
asking me, "Are you going to cover Wizard?" I said, "No, Wizard is filthy, trashy, garbagey, bad, terrible journalism." So I did, but I did trash it. So
I remember Wizard. I do. And then the only reason why I got Wizard was to look up prices for comics. Oh, what is this going for? What is that going for?
Yeah. Well, then I hated that they did that with the price guides when Overstreet had to start coming out more regularly because Wizards started doing that crap, and they really pissed off. They think they destroyed Overstreet. I don't know, but see these, man, look at those beautiful. God, I love those mags. I still have all these. Yeah, that was when you were just as excited to get the new Comics Journal or Amazing Heroes or Comics Interview as you were your comics, and so that was when there was some journalism to comics. But anyway, that did that last week. Well, let's do some show notes and get out of here. What do you think, man?
Oh, awesome. I'm there.
Okay, tomorrow night, everyone, at 7 p.m. Central, I will be hosting here tonight. I'm not allowed to say who is the great creator of this show because he's right here. He'll smack me. A certain person's The Comic Book Roundtable who created it. I have to Stan Lee you. You make me Stan Lee you.
You're going to kill me. Oh, my God. Oh, shit.
Oh,
I love you, brother.
You're the man, dude. We love you, bud. You're the man. You've been so great to this channel. We appreciate you. And tomorrow, I will be hosting someone's Comic Book Roundtable with, of course, we will have, not in addition to Loki, the wonderful Heiress of Chaos, Fat Steven Seagal, the great 24/7, and joined by Jed and Mark D as well with us as our guests. Cool. Indeed. They will be joining us tomorrow night. And let's see here. Wednesday night. My great buddy Flash from my old BTR days, which I was for 11 years before I came here a year ago, will be counting down our top 25 all-time favorite movies. What will they be? Mine will be a list of a 12-year-old. You'll be laughing at me if you're here. You'll be going, Jesus Christ, that's one of your favorite. Yeah, it'll be that immature, and I'm just gonna have to accept it, right? I got to deal with it.
I've got to find out. What's on your list.
I look at the list and go, Jesus Christ. But I love that movie. And I don't know, but I'm going to revise it a little bit before then. But maybe I don't know. You know what's weird? When I've done lists and then done them like 5, 6, 7 years later, or 8 years or whatever, I always kind of change my mind on some stuff or shift some stuff around a little bit. This time I might not. because they just don't make movies look alike anymore that much. No. For me, anyway.
I know there's at least two one black and white. I know there's a black and white in there because it's The Thing from Another World and Forbidden Planet. Those are two of my favorites. Blade Runners in there. There's some 80s and 70s and 60s. I love all the decades. There's even some 2000s in there.
I can neither confirm or deny that one of those films you named will be very high on my list.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's going to be fun. We used to, for many years, for those who don't know, back in the old days on Blog Talk Radio, Flash and I used to do these top 25 lists about various geek topics. And we did so many, we ran out of ones to do. But now that we're in a new place here for the past year, we decided we'll start doing some of those old ones we used to do because no one even remembers all those old ones. And I can't move those old, hey, Tim Hayes, good to see you. I can't move those here because I don't kind of music and crap all over them, all those old BTR shows.
Yeah.
And I get in trouble. But anyway, so that is Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, and 1 p.m. Central Thursday afternoon. The Global Geek Gang shall gather for some Global Geek foolishness.
That is one hell of a Global Geek Gang. Look at that.
Oh, I put a bunch of people on there. Yeah, I just went crazy on it.
Ash, Mark, Nick, Bob, Bat, Steven. I know all these people. Chris Persia, Pablo, Clobby, Minimus, Raquel, Paulie, Eric K, R&B, Erico, Raymond, Retro, Jed, Marty. God.
Yeah, well, I went with the look. I put purple on there too.
Yep.
Purple hasn't been here for the Global Geek Gang much, but she comes on the show as much. I thought I had you on here, but it was an Astro City character. I don't know what to put because no one knows Astro City but me. It's one of the greatest comics ever made, and I tout it to the high heavens. But it's just kind of one of those things no one really reads except for me. But it's one of the greatest comics ever made, and I'll do more shows on it. Not that anyone will care, of course, but I'll do them. That's 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thursday afternoon, folks. And Saturday night, I'm getting there, folks. Sorry I'm so slow. Saturday night, Star Trek, beginning phase 3 of our ongoing mission with my fantastic First Officer, Raquel Briggs.
Nice.
Reviewing all of real Star Trek. Meaning, of course, 1966 through 2005 only. Our first leg of that journey was the original series. Then this past week we just finished reviewing Star Trek the Animated Series. Now we're on to the original cast films. We'll be doing the motion picture, theatrical, and director's cut, and then of course a film like this is a strange small film no one's ever heard of called Star Trek to the Vengeance of Khan. Right? Is that it?
Vengeance, yeah. The Revenge.
And oh, hey, Jeffrey, we appreciate having you here. Thank you for being here, my friend. We appreciate all of you.
Thank you, brother. And Tim Hayes too. Yeah.
Tim Hayes, always good to see you, buddy. And then one last announcement: August. This is way away, but I want to keep plugging it. Marvel Comics will not, in my opinion, sufficiently celebrate the Fantastic Four 60th anniversary. So it's up to Clobberin Times, and the Global Geek Gang and I will get together. August is always for Clobberin Times Jack Kirby month, the King of Comics, because we love him. And in addition to that, and this another celebration will be Sunday, April 8th. April 8th is the in 1961 was the release date of Fantastic Four #1. We're going to celebrate on that day, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. The Global Geek Gang will gather with me to do so, and we'll have guests and all kind of fun stuff. Anyone who wants to celebrate the Fantastic Four, and if you're a fan, and we'll get anyone who wants to come in and hang out. Loki, of course, you are totally welcome if you feel like. I don't know. Don't even know if you're an FF fan or not, bud, but you are more than welcome to join me.
Love to. We'd love to have you on that month to tell my viewers all about Kirby. I would love to have you on that month.
Anytime, because I'm going to be doing Kirby shows that whole month.
Yeah.
Because that's of course the month of Kirby's birth. And also Gene Roddenberry, which we do a lot of Trek, so we'll be celebrating on his birthday. I'm going to do a special show. On Kirby's birthday, I'm going to do a special show. And I can't believe I share a birthday month with the greatest two of the greatest creators who ever lived. So, and August is going to be a lot of fun for me. It always is. And yes, by the way, that's another announcement. Timothy Hayes, that's right. I am involved with Iconicon in July. I'm going to release some details. I got a schedule. I'm going to be on panels for my great retro blasting friends. It's a virtual con. I will be running one of the panels and sitting on a few other ones. And I've got a schedule on that, and that's coming in July. Looking forward to that.
Heck yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Dude, I kept you here so long, man. I know you're tired and busy. I'm sorry about that, brother.
No, it's cool. Remind me when once we're out of here to show you something cool I'm working on for tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Gotcha. So thank you, everyone who showed up tonight, man. I really appreciate all of you. You're the best. You've all been fantastic. Believe me, I love everything you put in there in the chat, and I appreciate it so much. It's tough to get to all of it. Thank you to any friends who came, new friends we made like Jeffrey and others. Thank you so much, everyone. You all have a great night. And again, big shout out and kudos to the great Stone Loki for being my fantastic guest tonight. And
my pleasure.
Dude, always, because I try to give you credit every time for this fantastic intro outro. Great night, everyone, and see you tomorrow night on the Comic Book Round Table.
Clobberin time!
One more brief show note. Loki, I forgot to get you to shout your channel out. What you doing, dude? I'm sorry.
Oh no,
I always
dude.
forget, dude. I'm sorry.
No,
Man.
guys, you guys know, Mornings of Mischief, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, every Monday through Friday. That's my gig. That's what we do. We wake up, we talk about pop culture, we talk about things going on, we talk about good things, we talk about things from the past, talk about things we love, talk about things we care about. We just have an hour show on Monday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Thanks, bro. Sorry about that. I always forget that kind of stuff. And we have a lot of
No, you were fine.
We'll send the link description below to the channel as well, in addition to this link, everyone. So take care, everyone.
Thank you,
And again,
Chris.
and many other great channels. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you, bro. Everyone have a great one.
Have
Take
a great
care.
night, guys.
Good night, everybody.